When a woman ignores you while deeply in love, it isn't rejection, it's protection. Her silence shields her heart, tests your consistency, and hides her vulnerability. Love overwhelms her, yet she withdraws to measure your strength. Distance becomes her language, showing that real affection often hides behind unspoken emotions. Silence is one of the most powerful languages of love, and when a woman is deeply in love, her silence can become her shield. It is not always about rejection, coldness, or indifference. Often it is her way of protecting what she feels inside. Love makes her vulnerable, and vulnerability is not easy for anyone to show, especially for a woman who values her emotions deeply. She knows that expressing everything openly could expose her heart to pain, misunderstanding, or even rejection, so instead she chooses silence. That silence becomes her armor, her way of guarding the depth of her feelings until she feels safe enough to reveal them. When emotions run too deep, words sometimes fail. A woman in love can feel everything so intensely that she doesn't know how to put it into sentences. Her silence then becomes a way to manage those overwhelming emotions. It allows her to step back, to breathe, and to process what her heart is experiencing. In those quiet moments, she is not ignoring you. She is containing her own storm of feelings. Silence is her way of holding on to her dignity while carrying the weight of her affection. Many men misinterpret this quietness as disinterest, but in reality it often means the opposite. A woman who doesn't care has no reason to hide, no reason to protect, no reason to be cautious, but a woman who loves deeply understands the risk her emotions carry. She knows that once she exposes her heart completely, she is giving someone else the power to hurt her. That is why silence becomes her shield. It is her strategy to protect her own heart while still keeping the connection alive. This shield of silence also tests the strength of the bond. She wants to see if your presence is consistent, if your patience is strong, and if your intentions are genuine. If her silence drives you away, then she learns the truth without ever needing to ask. But if her silence makes you lean in closer, show understanding, and give her reassurance, then she knows she is safe. In this way, her quiet withdrawal is not to push you out, but to see if you are strong enough to stay in. Silence also allows her to preserve her mystery. Women understand that too much exposure too soon can dilute the beauty of love. She doesn't want to give everything away at once. By holding back, she keeps the connection alive with curiosity, depth, and intrigue. Love, after all, thrives on a balance of closeness and distance. Her silence maintains that balance. It keeps the relationship from burning out too quickly and allows feelings to grow naturally over time. When a woman is deeply in love, her silence is never empty. It is full of emotions, questions, hopes, and fears. Behind every quiet glance, every pause in conversation, and every moment of withdrawal, she is feeling more than she can express. Silence is her shield, but inside that shield lies a heart that beats louder than words ever could. When a woman is deeply in love, she often finds herself battling with an invisible enemy, vulnerability. Love opens doors within her that she might not have opened for anyone else. It makes her feel exposed, raw, and uncertain. The very depth of her emotions scares her because she realizes that with this kind of love, she no longer has complete control. Vulnerability means giving someone else the power to affect her happiness. And for many women, that is not just frightening, it's overwhelming. So instead of freely expressing what she feels, she might choose to hold back, to remain silent, or even to distance herself. This isn't because her love is weak, it's because her love is too strong. Vulnerability is a double-edged sword. On one side, it allows intimacy and deep connection. On the other, it opens the possibility of heartbreak and disappointment. A woman who has experienced pain in the past knows how heavy that heartbreak can be. She remembers what it felt like to trust too much, to give too much, and to lose herself in the process. That memory shapes her behavior. Even when she meets someone who touches her soul, the fear of being hurt again can make her cautious. Her heart longs to open, but her mind tells her to stay guarded. This inner conflict often shows up as ignoring, pulling away, or staying silent. For a woman in love, vulnerability feels like standing on the edge of a cliff, both exciting and terrifying. The view is beautiful, but the risk of falling is real. So she hesitates. She asks herself questions she cannot answer. Will he truly understand me? Will he value what I give? Will he stay, or will he leave once he knows the depth of my heart? These questions create hesitation, and hesitation creates distance. This distance is not rejection. It is her way of protecting her heart while she tries to figure out if it's safe enough to let go. Her silence, her withdrawal, or her tendency to ignore you at times is often her shield against vulnerability. It is her way of saying, I feel so much, but I am scared to show it all. Love makes her feel exposed, and exposure is uncomfortable. The deeper her feelings go, the more afraid she becomes of losing herself or being taken for granted. It is not easy for a woman to reveal the most tender parts of her soul because once revealed, they cannot be hidden again. She is not afraid of loving. She is afraid of being misunderstood in her love. What looks like indifference from the outside is often a woman's battle with her own vulnerability. She ignores because she feels too much. She goes silent because her emotions are louder than her words. She pulls back because moving forward feels like surrendering control. But behind all these actions lies one truth. Her love is real, powerful, and consuming, and it scares her enough to hide it until she knows it's safe to be seen. When a woman is deeply in love, her emotions don't just make her vulnerable, they also make her curious about the strength of the bond she shares. She wants to know if the connection is secure, if your presence is stable, and if your words align with your actions. Love for her is not just about how much you say you care. It's about whether your care can withstand the silence, the distance, and the moments of uncertainty. This is why many women, often without even realizing it, test emotional security by pulling back, by ignoring, or by creating space. It isn't to play games, it's to find clarity. Testing emotional security is never about manipulation, it is about reassurance. When her feelings run deep, she needs to know if you are truly there for her or if you are only there when things are easy and convenient. Her silence, her sudden withdrawal, or her decision to hold back affection is often a way of asking, will you still choose me when I'm not giving you constant attention? Will you still be consistent when I'm quiet? Will you still stand strong when I'm not making it easy? These silent questions are her way of measuring the depth of your commitment. A woman who is in love wants stability. She wants to feel safe enough to open up the deepest parts of herself. But before she does that, she must be sure that the person she loves is capable of handling her truth. Emotional security, to her, means knowing she can be silent without being abandoned, that she can express her fears without being judged, and that she can step back without losing the bond. It's a test of patience, strength, and authenticity. When she ignores you, it is not rejection. It is observation. She is watching your response. Do you react with anger? Do you withdraw completely? Or do you remain calm, consistent, and understanding? Each reaction tells her something about your emotional strength. If your presence falters at the first sign of distance, she knows the bond is fragile. But if you remain steady, offering her respect, space, and patience, she begins to feel safe. That safety is what allows her love to flow freely. This testing is also her way of protecting herself. She knows that deep love can be both beautiful and dangerous. If she gives everything too quickly, she risks heartbreak. By creating space, she can measure whether your affection is genuine or conditional. She wants to see if you are drawn to her for who she is or only for what she gives you in moments of ease and attention. Emotional security is proven not in words, but in how you respond when love requires patience. At its core, her testing is a reflection of how much she values the connection. A woman who doesn't care won't bother testing. She'll simply walk away. But a woman who loves deeply wants certainty before surrendering her whole heart. Ignoring you, withdrawing, or going quiet is her way of finding that certainty. It's not that she doubts her feelings, it's that she needs to be sure yours are strong enough to hold them. When a woman is deeply in love, the intensity of her emotions can sometimes become too heavy for her to carry openly. Love, in its rawest form, is powerful. It shakes her, it excites her, but it also overwhelms her. She begins to feel emotions she cannot fully understand, let alone explain. That depth of feeling often pushes her to retreat into silence or even ignore the very person she loves. It is not because she wants distance. It is because her heart is overflowing and she doesn't know how to manage the flood of emotions that love has awakened inside her. Being overwhelmed by emotions is like standing in the middle of a storm. Everything feels heightened. Her joy, her fear, her desire, her doubts. When she's around the one she loves, every heartbeat feels louder, every word carries weight, and every interaction feels meaningful. This intensity can be so strong that it leaves her without words. In those moments, silence or withdrawal becomes her only way to process what she feels. It may appear like indifference from the outside, but inside she is experiencing more than she can express. For many women, love brings both exhilaration and fear. She may find herself constantly thinking about you, feeling a deep need for your presence, yet also worrying about what that need means. Questions begin to flood her mind. Am I giving too much of myself? Does he feel the same way? What if I lose him? These questions do not come from a lack of love, but from the overwhelming depth of it. She knows she is vulnerable, and that vulnerability magnifies her emotions even further. To manage them, she may choose to step back, creating a quiet space where she can make sense of what her heart is trying to tell her. Her withdrawal is also her way of regaining balance. When emotions are too strong, they can blur her sense of control. A woman values her self-composure, and when love threatens to sweep that away, she instinctively retreats to protect her inner stability. Ignoring, going silent, or keeping her distance becomes her method of grounding herself again. She wants to feel the love, but she also wants to remain centered, so she temporarily shields herself until she feels ready to embrace those emotions without losing herself. It is important to understand that when a woman feels overwhelmed by love, her distance is not a lack of interest. On the contrary, it is a sign of how deeply she feels. A woman who does not care will never experience this emotional turbulence. But a woman whose heart is deeply involved cannot help but feel the weight of every word, every gesture, every silence shared with the one she loves. Her quiet moments are not emptiness, they are full of emotions too powerful to spill carelessly. When she seems distant, she is not moving away from love. She is drowning in it, trying to find her breath. She is overwhelmed, not indifferent, and her silence is only proof that the love she feels is far greater than anything she can put into words. When a woman is deeply in love, she often understands that love is not only about closeness, but also about preserving an element of mystery. Mystery is what keeps the connection alive, what keeps curiosity flowing, and what prevents love from becoming ordinary too quickly. Many times her choice to ignore, stay silent, or step back is not because she does not care, but because she does not want to lose that sense of intrigue. She knows that when everything is revealed too soon, when every emotion is laid bare without restraint, the magic begins to fade. By holding back, she allows the relationship to breathe, to evolve, and to maintain that delicate balance between closeness and curiosity. Desire for mystery is not about playing games. It is about understanding human nature. She knows that too much availability can reduce her value in the eyes of the one she loves. When she ignores or withholds, it is not rejection. It is her way of making sure that her love is not taken for granted. She wants to be cherished, to be pursued, and to be appreciated. Mystery allows that to happen because it keeps you wondering, keeps you engaged, and keeps you attentive. Without it, love can quickly become routine, losing the fire that makes it exciting. A woman who is deeply in love wants to remain a source of fascination to the man she cares for. She wants him to feel drawn to her even in her silence. Her absence, her quietness, or her occasional distance is often a way of reminding you that her love is not something to be assumed, it is something to be valued. By creating mystery, she keeps the connection vibrant, ensuring that the depth of her affection is not consumed too quickly, but discovered over time. Mystery also gives her a sense of power in the relationship. Love makes her vulnerable, but by keeping certain parts of herself hidden, she regains balance. She knows that once she reveals everything, her fears, her desires, her insecurities, she is completely exposed. But by staying partly mysterious, she maintains an aura that protects her heart while also keeping you invested. It is not distance for the sake of distance, it is distance for the sake of depth. When a woman ignores you in moments of love, she may be creating space for you to wonder, to pursue, and to rediscover her. That distance makes the moments of closeness even more meaningful. Mystery adds value to the connection by slowing down the pace and allowing both of you to grow into the love instead of rushing through it. Without mystery, relationships risk burning out too soon. With mystery, love continues to feel alive, unpredictable, and exciting. Her silence, therefore, is not emptiness, but intention. It is her way of preserving the sacredness of her emotions, of keeping the relationship alive with curiosity. She wants to remain unforgettable, not because she says everything, but because she knows when to hold back. Mystery becomes her gift to love, a way of ensuring that it stays as magnetic tomorrow as it feels today. When a woman is deeply in love, her actions are rarely random. What often appears as ignoring or distancing is, in many cases, her way of measuring your effort. Love to her is not just about words or emotions. It is about consistency, reliability, and the willingness to prove that what you feel is real. When she withdraws, she is silently asking a question. Will you come closer even when I step back? Will you fight for this connection even when I stop making it easy for you? Her silence becomes a test of your dedication, and your response reveals the depth of your intentions. Measuring your effort is her way of protecting herself from disappointment. She knows that words can be sweet, promises can be easy, and feelings can be temporary. But effort cannot be faked for long. Effort requires patience, resilience, and genuine care. By stepping back, she gives you the space to reveal whether your love exists only when it is convenient or whether it is strong enough to withstand her silence. For her, love is not proven by grand gestures in moments of passion, but by the small consistencies in moments of uncertainty. When a woman loves deeply, she wants to feel secure in that love. She needs to know that if she becomes quiet, you will still reach out. If she seems distant, you will still hold your ground. And if she creates space, you will not simply walk away. This is not manipulation. It is her heart seeking assurance. She is not ignoring you to punish you, but to see whether your presence is tied to her constant effort or whether you can stand on your own in building the bond. Every woman understands the difference between temporary attraction and lasting commitment. Attraction is easy, but commitment requires effort, and effort is revealed in moments of difficulty. When she pulls away, she is not closing the door on love. She is opening a window to see if you will climb through it. If you give up easily, she learns that her heart is safer behind walls. But if you continue to show patience, consistency, and sincerity, she sees that you value her enough to stay. That realization allows her to open herself fully. Her way of measuring your effort may feel challenging, but it comes from the depth of her love. A woman who is not invested will never bother to test your presence. She will simply leave. But a woman who loves deeply needs to know that the man she has given her heart to can handle the weight of it. She needs to see action behind words, stability behind emotions, and presence behind promises. When she withdraws, she is giving you a chance to show that your love is not dependent on her constant giving. She is allowing you to prove that you can also carry the connection, that you can nurture it, and that you can stay steady even when she is silent. In her world, effort is the true measure of love, and when you show it, her heart begins to feel safe enough to surrender completely. When a woman is deeply in love, she often finds herself torn between two powerful forces inside her, the desire to give everything she feels and the fear of losing herself in the process. This inner conflict is not something she creates intentionally. It is the natural tension that love awakens within her. On one hand, her heart pulls her closer, urging her to express her emotions, to be present, and to open herself completely. On the other hand, her mind warns her to step back, to be cautious, and to protect herself from the possible pain that deep love can bring. This constant tug of war often shows up as silence, distance, or ignoring the very person she cares about most. Her inner conflict comes from the depth of her emotions. Love, when it runs deep, can feel both intoxicating and frightening. She feels joy when she is close to you, but also anxiety at the thought of losing you. She wants to reveal her whole self, but she fears that once she does, she will be too exposed. This contradiction makes her retreat, even when her heart wants to move forward. From the outside, it looks like mixed signals, but on the inside, it is a struggle between surrender and self-protection. Part of this conflict is shaped by her past. If she has been hurt before, every new feeling of love awakens old wounds. Even though you may not be the cause of those scars, the fear of history repeating itself lingers. She remembers what it felt like to give her heart too freely, and she resists repeating that mistake. So, when her emotions grow stronger than she expected, she chooses silence as a way to slow things down. It gives her space to evaluate, to question, and to regain control over the flood of emotions she is experiencing. This inner battle is also tied to her longing for balance. A woman in love wants to pour herself into the relationship, but she also wants to hold on to her independence, her dignity, and her sense of self. Too much giving too soon can make her feel like she is losing that balance. By ignoring or pulling back, she reminds herself and you that she still has control. It is not rejection, but a silent attempt to maintain harmony between her love and her identity. Her conflict, though silent, is intense. She may lie awake thinking about you, longing for your presence, while at the same time convincing herself to keep her distance. She may want to text you, to call you, to pour her heart out, yet she restrains herself, fearing that too much openness will make her appear too vulnerable. This inner tension explains why her actions sometimes don't match her feelings. What she shows on the outside is caution, but what she carries inside is overflowing love. A woman's inner conflict in love is not a sign of weakness, but of depth. She ignores, withdraws, or goes silent, not because she does not feel enough, but because she feels far too much. Her struggle is not about whether she loves you. It is about whether she dares to fully surrender to that love without losing herself along the way. When a woman is deeply in love, her behavior can often appear contradictory. She may pull away, grow quiet, or even seem distant at times, leaving you wondering if her feelings have changed. But in truth, her distance is not a lack of love. It is love in disguise. What looks like detachment is often her way of protecting the depth of her emotions. She withdraws not because she doesn't care, but because she cares so deeply that the weight of her feelings overwhelms her. Distance becomes the mask she wears to hide just how much she is invested. Love disguised as distance is her way of creating space to manage her emotions. When a woman loves strongly, the intensity can feel consuming. Every look, every word, every gesture from the one she loves carries meaning, and sometimes that meaning is too much to process all at once. Instead of letting her emotions pour out recklessly, she chooses to step back, to regulate her heart, and to make sense of what she feels. Her silence is not emptiness. It is full of emotions too powerful to reveal carelessly. This distance is also a form of protection. Love makes her vulnerable, and vulnerability can be frightening. By pulling away, she shields herself from the possibility of disappointment or rejection. She may want to be near you, to express everything in her heart, yet the fear of giving too much too soon makes her retreat. Her distance is not her heart closing, it is her heart guarding itself until it feels completely safe. Behind every moment of silence is a woman who is wrestling with the depth of her affection and the fear of losing control over it. At the same time, distance allows her to test the strength of the connection. She wants to know if your love is strong enough to endure her quietness. Will you still be present when she is not making it easy? Will you remain patient when she is not showering you with constant attention? Her withdrawal often answers these questions for her. If you remain consistent, steady, and understanding, she feels reassured that her love is safe. If you pull away at her silence, she learns that her distance reveals truths that words never could. Love disguised as distance also preserves mystery. A woman in love doesn't always want to expose every layer of her heart too quickly. By holding back, she ensures that the relationship doesn't lose its intrigue. Her absence makes her presence more valuable, and her silence makes her words more meaningful when she finally speaks. This push and pull is not about playing games. It is about keeping love alive with curiosity and depth. So, when a woman ignores you, withdraws, or goes quiet despite being deeply in love, it is not indifference. It is the opposite. Her distance is love, hidden behind fear, caution, and self-protection. It is the proof that she feels more than she dares to express openly. What seems like absence is often the truest sign of how much space you occupy in her heart. When a woman ignores you while being deeply in love, it is never a sign of indifference. It is a reflection of how profoundly she feels. Her silence may be a shield, her distance a way of testing your strength, and her withdrawal a response to being overwhelmed by her own emotions. At times, she protects her vulnerability, guards her mystery, measures your effort, and wrestles with her inner conflicts. What looks like absence is often her heart's deepest presence, disguised behind fear and caution. The truth is, when a woman loves deeply, her actions are rarely simple. They are layered, complex, and full of meaning. If you can look beyond her silence, beyond her distance, and recognize the love hidden in those moments, you will see the truth, that her ignoring you is not the absence of love, but love expressed in ways that words often cannot capture.